What is up, my horror queens, cinematic baddies, and lovers of all things bloody? Welcome back to the Film Frontline. I am so ready to spill the tea today because the horror girlies have officially been fed. We just got our very first look at the highly anticipated sequel, In a Violent Nature 2. And let me tell you, the vibes are absolutely unhinged. If you thought the first movie was a wild, blood-soaked hike through the woods, buckle up, because our favorite undead menace, Johnny, is packing his bags and heading to summer camp. Grab your iced coffee, get comfortable, and let's break down every single detail of this trailer, what it means for the franchise, and whether this sequel is about to slay, literally and figuratively. Let us start with the facts, the lore, and the absolute chaos this new footage just unleashed. So, in case you missed the cultural reset that was the first In a Violent Nature back in 2024, it completely flipped the script on the classic slasher by giving us an ambient, slow-burn massacre told almost entirely from the perspective of the killer. It was giving ASMR, but make it lethal, with long, tracking shots of Johnny just relentlessly marching toward his next victim. But here is the biggest bombshell from this new trailer. They're changing the formula. The sequel is moving away from that strict 100% killer POV. The footage shows us that while we are still going to get Johnny's iconic tunnel vision perspective of his carnage, the camera is now toggling to the victim's points of view as well. We're seeing terrifying shots from inside cabins as Johnny attacks from the outside, meaning the sheer panic of the situation is going to feel way more widespread and immersive. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons of this massive aesthetic shift. On the pro side, opening up the visual grammar means the pacing is going to be incredibly dynamic. Let's be real, a lot of critics of the first film called it a walking simulator because we spent so much time just staring at the back of Johnny's head as he stomped through the Canadian wilderness. By bringing the victim's terror into the actual framing, it raises the traditional emotional stakes and gives us that classic adrenaline-pumping slasher chase energy. But on the con side, we have to ask, does losing the strict killer POV take away the exact artistic gimmick that made the first movie so iconic? The charm of the original was its stubborn, confident commitment to that one rule. By making it look more like a traditional horror movie, they risk blending in with every other summer camp bloodbath on the market. Speaking of summer camp, let us get into the juicy plot details. Johnny has officially wandered out of the isolated woods and into a heavily populated camp setting. The story centers on a young, outcast camper who is forced to spend the night with her counselor sister and her friends during an end-of-season wrap party. Naturally, Johnny decides to crash the festivities. The fan theories are already spiraling out of control about this setup. Is this young outcast camper going to be our new ultimate final girl? The dynamic of a younger outcast relying on an older, probably irresponsible sister adds a really fascinating emotional layer. Usually, the final girl is the pure, responsible counselor, so centering the outcast means we get a darker, more resourceful survivor who maybe even figures out how to use Johnny's slow, methodical nature against him. Industry-wise, this production is a massive flex for the indie horror scene. The studios behind this are proving that you don't need a $100 million budget to create a buzzy, globally recognized franchise. Interestingly, Chris Nash, the mastermind who wrote and directed the original, is handing over the directorial reins to his first assistant director, Nathaniel Wilson, while Nash stays on to write the script and produce. This is a brilliant power move. It keeps the original DNA completely intact while letting a fresh set of eyes elevate the action. And trust me, the producers are already promising an exponential increase in the ultraviolence. If you remember that infamous yoga kill from the first movie, you know they're not playing around. They're promising multiple kills on that level, which is honestly terrifying, and I am entirely living for it. All right, it's time for the Film Frontline opinion, where I give you my unfiltered, brutally honest take. Personally, I'm obsessed with this pivot. Look, I respected the absolute audacity of the first movie's ambient, slow cinema approach. It was a masterpiece of mood and tension. But as a true girl boss of horror, I need my sequels to escalate, not just repeat the same trick. Moving Johnny to a summer camp is the ultimate homage to the Friday the 13th golden era, but injecting that nostalgic setting with this hyper brutal, postmodern execution is exactly what the genre needs right now. I'm slightly nervous that jumping between perspectives might make the movie feel a little disjointed if the editing isn't flawlessly sharp, but I trust the team behind this. They know what the fans want. They know we want jaw-dropping practical effects, tense cat and mouse games, and a final girl who refuses to make stupid decisions. I am genuinely hyped to see Johnny turn this end of summer party into an absolute masterpiece of a bloodbath. I truly think this has the potential to outshine the original if they balance the artsy cinematography with high-octane slasher thrills. But enough about what I think. I want to hear from all of you. Drop into the comments and tell me, are you here for the POV shift, or do you think they should have kept it strictly from Johnny's perspective? And while you're at it, what is your all-time favorite summer camp horror movie? Let's get a fierce debate going down below. If you loved this breakdown and want to stay ahead of the curve on all things cinema, you know exactly what to do. Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and join the Film Frontline family. We're building the smartest, boldest community of film lovers on the internet, and you definitely want a front row seat. Until next time, stay safe, stay cinematic, and I will catch you in the next video.